Thank you so much, Romero, for all those very pretty pictures. And I love seeing a live video with expansion because, the stuff that we expand are not live, but it's always nice to see movement. So for the next speaker, we have our third speaker today is Matthias Delhay, who is currently a PhD student in neuroscience at the University of British Columbia. He began his PhD in 2021 under the supervision of Dr. Anne-Marie Craig and Mark Zembrowski using expansion microscopy combined with lattice light sheet microscopy to investigate these synaptic altercations in epilepsy. So let's welcome Matthias.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to let me present my work today. And so, as Natalie introduced me, I'm going to talk about the synaptic remodeling in temporal lobe epilepsy. So, first of all, I would like to talk about epilepsy. It's the condition where the patients are facing recurrent seizures, and the type of epilepsy that I'm studying is the temporal lobe epilepsy, where the focus of epilepsy is located in the temporal lobe, which is where the hippocampus is sitting. And in my specific case, I'm interested into the synaptic alteration and the protein alteration that are occurring in excitatory synapses. And so, for a very long time, the study of excitatory synapses has been the realm of electron microscopy, specifically to study the fine structure and the distribution of the protein within the synapses. However, it presents several limits, such as the volume that can be acquired, as well as the labeling of multiple proteins. Usually you can do only one protein at a time. But in my case, I'm interested in various proteins, so among which postsynaptic density proteins, as well as glutamatergic receptors, which are essential for the function of excitatory synapses. And if I want to use regular IHC procedure to look at these, specifically in human tissue, formalin fixed paraffin embedded tissue, the type of results that I'm obtaining, it's like this, with very blurry signal, not a lot of contrast, not a good signal to noise ratio, and also unspecific signal around the nucleus, which is not expected for these markers. And so, in this context, as we've been talking today, this expansion microscopy procedure has been developed. And so in my case specifically, I'm using the magnified analysis of the proteome. I'm not going to go too much about the chemistry here, but so we developed a paper where we study specifically excitatory synaptic proteins. It's not really a method paper, but more like an application paper to show that we can study excitatory synaptic proteins in different types of tissue, including FFPE tissue, so formalin fixed paraffin embedded tissue. So in my specific case, I'm looking directly at human tissue, so clinical tissue coming from post-mortem cases, as well as epileptic cases, so from resected surgeries from patients with this focal epilepsy that can receive a surgery to alleviate some of the seizures that they have and that we can study with such tissue. And so without going in too much detail in the chemistry, what I want to emphasize here is that I'm doing the labeling after the expansion. So I'm doing the anchoring and the clearing, and after this I'm doing the labeling. And so as you can see here, once it's cleared, we are expanding it, which makes the tissue bigger. And so in my case, you can imagine that looking at human tissue that are already big, if we want to look at the fine structure at like a high resolution, it will make the tissue even bigger and make the acquisition time even longer. And so in this context, my center acquired a lattice light sheet microscope, one of the few in Canada. And so without entering in too much detail in the technology, it allows a near confocal resolution, so around 300 nanometers, while being 500 times faster than regular confocal microscopy. And so just to give you an idea of the scale of tissue that I'm acquiring, this is an expanded human hippocampus, only 2 times expanded. I'm going to come back on it on the next slide. So what I want you to focus on is the scale of the tissue that I'm looking at. We are looking at like centimeter scale tissue, and not that I'm acquiring, not that I'm analyzing all of this tissue, but I'm still acquiring millimeter scale tissue that I want to quantify and analyze. And so, as with like many expansion microscopy paper, just to show you a before and after, this is the type of gain of resolution that I'm obtaining when I'm using expansion microscopy. And I want to insist that this is on postmortem tissue, so clinical tissue from various bank of tissue that everyone can access. We can dramatically increase the quality of the staining that we obtain. And compared to people who talked about expansion microscopy today, I'm not really looking into the super resolution that this procedure allows, but more for the gain in antigen accessibility. I don't necessarily need to reach into the distribution of the different domain within the synapses, but more to finally access the synaptic protein at an individual synapse level and be able to do meaningful quantification and not just broad analysis. And so talking about this quantification, I'm doing quantification in 3D because the lattice slide sheet automatically take 3D images. And so after this, I can just generate mask around this fluorescent signal. For now, this is only a simple mask, but this is very preliminary analysis. And then within these masks, I can just analyze the synapse density, which was not possible to do before, using light microscopy on this tissue, as well as looking at various intensity signals or like geometry. Specifically for synapses, it's important the shape that they have. And so just to give you some insights about the quantification that I can make, going back to the type of tissue I'm looking at, this is a human hippocampus that is twice expanded with different subregions. And so it is known that synapses made in the CA1 region and in the CA4 regions are slightly different. You don't need to know really about the function of this, but just to tell you that the synapses made in this region are a bit more round, more spherical, than the synapses in the CA4, which are a bit more complex in structure due to the mossy fiber type of synapses that we find here. And this seems to reflect in the trend when I look at the sphericity parameters for the synapses made in the CA1 versus the CA4. So showing that I can do some like geometrical analysis, very basic analysis for now. And then going back to the epilepsy pathology, we know that there are various types of epilepsy, and among the temporal lobe epilepsy, there is one type where we have a significant loss of cells in the CA1 region, as you can see here, but no analysis at the individual synapse level have been done yet. And so just quickly looking at the trend, what we observed is that in the CA1 region, we have a drastic loss of synapses, which is kind of expected because we don't have as many neurons anymore. But we also observed in the CA3 region that there is also a significant reduce in the number of synapses, which has not been observed or reported before. So here highlighting the kind of like parameters or like new discoveries that I can now make using the combination of expansion microscopy on FFPE tissue. And so talking a bit about the limitations still of this procedure, of this combination, what I want to highlight is not like a kind of magical procedure. It's not going to completely restore the antigenicity or the accessibility of the protein. And so this is what I would consider as a good sample with like a nice antigenicity, well preserved. But then in some of the tissue that I processed, so again, FFPE tissue, I realized that we have these kind of holes within the tissue, and this is not expected. It should give like this more homogeneous distribution. So even though maybe we can see some like colocalization of these synaptic markers, the distribution will be biased, and so this type of tissue could not really be analyzed, specifically for the distribution of synapses. And sometimes the preservation is so bad that it doesn't allow to really look at individual synapse quantitatively. And so just as a future direction, as I was telling you about, I'm acquiring very large piece of tissue, so millimeter scale at that resolution, which gives me hundreds of gigabytes of data that I need to pre-process before doing any meaningful quantification. And so we've been having some issues doing this processing in a reasonable amount of time. And so our imaging scientist in our center has been developing this tool to try to speed up a little bit the process. And so if you would like to just contact him and see if you would want to see if that could be applicable for your type of tissue, you could try to reach him out here. So just to show you the just to show you the speed up of the process, now we are able to process hundreds of gigabytes of data within a day on a single machine. And so on this, I would like to first thank you everyone for your attention, as well as my lab for all of the support that they have been providing me, and specifically on Jeff, that has been a big support, and I think some of you may know Jeff Redoudou. Thank you very much.